Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming over at such early time. Really appreciate that. To tell you a bit about myself, as already mentioned, my name is Zvika Kezurer. And what I wanted to say a little bit on a personal basis, I have a very close relation with Vilnius for a very good reason. That's me with my parents when I was 2 years old, with Bashna Gediminas, as it's called in Russian. I was born in Vilnius, not far away from here. A little bit about my professional experience. In my last 35 years, I spent a lot with the startup community, investment community, did a lot of multinational, multilingual projects, especially in the telco business, all kinds of telcos all around the world, and spent a lot of time with the big companies, smaller companies like IBM, HP, MC, and so on. What I'm doing today, as I already mentioned, I am a chairman of the Israeli-Lithuanian Technology Hub. I'm the chairman, I'm also the a partner in Afterdocs, which is an angel investment group. I am a member and advisory board sitting in sales and channel creation, and a lot of other activities related in this business. What I'm trying to do in the next 25, 30 minutes, is to give you a few tips as an entrepreneur, as a CEO of a company, of a small startup that's just starting his journey, a few tips how can he better convince people that have the money to give some of their money to his startup. So first of all, a little bit to give you an idea about funding options. When this company starts running, it's called pre-seed or seed. It's under $1 million, and it can come from family, from friends, from angels, and from incubators. That's like the early stage. Then later, when you go to the next round, there is crowdfunding. You can get some money from your customer if you know how to do that, and from venture capitals. It's between $1 million to $10 million. And then when you really expand from $10 million and up, it could be investment banking, private equity, and of course it could be an exit. Now, you see it's a nice picture. Young people dating. Fundraising is like dating. And my question is there a love from first glance? The answer is yes. And we'll talk about it later in a moment, and you will see that if you and the investor will not fall in love from the first sight, there's no chance that you'll continue to talk. Now I have another question. How much time do you as a CEO need to make the first impression? You see here's the picture, two people waiting for the CEO to come in and to present. Somebody can tell me what is the answer to this question? How much time is it needed to do the first impression? The few seconds from the entrance until you take your place near the table, that's the time to make the first impression. It could be the last impression as well, if it's not good enough. And that was quoted by Uri Levin, which is a co-founder of a company, a well-known company called Waze. Talk about this company later. So maybe it's a little bit exaggerating. It's not this 5 seconds, but it's definitely a very short time that you need to convince the investor to fall in love with you. If it doesn't happen, you need to talk to somebody else. Basically, there are like 5 pillars that actually when you do your pitch to the investor, you need to talk about the team, about an idea, about the industry, business, and the funding. Let's talk about a little bit in each one of them. Best team. Used to be the best team, not available anymore. So you need to look for something else. The best team that you present, it's like 2 or 3 founders that have complementary skills. Maybe one of them knows more about business, sales, business. The other one knows about technology. A very good combination. Then you need to demonstrate that you can execute, because the investor wants to get return on his money. If you cannot execute, bad luck. And the people need to be committed to the idea. Of course, they should be motivated, coachable, and so on. A bonus, if some of these investors, some of these entrepreneurs already sold and they're already known in the industry and they could be recommended to the investor, that's definitely a better place to go. You can choose another team, what's called an A-team. People maybe don't know these guys. It was like an American series in the television. Industry. What is your differentiator? You come with a new idea, with a great idea. What is different in your idea from others' idea in the market? Is it the right timing? Maybe it's too late. Maybe it could be a great idea, but maybe it's too late already. The market is big, but is it the growth potential for your idea? Can you be the market leader? New frontiers, new markets. I'll talk about some of them, but you need to find the investor that really is interested in the market that you are presenting, you are pitching to. There are a lot of new markets today: industrial internet, cloud services, social platform, digital currency, mobile services, UAVs, virtual reality, bioinformatics, cybersecurity, wearable, you name it. You need to be sure that you talk to the right person. If they are not interested in this specific industry, they will not talk to you anymore. Then the idea. Is it unique? Is it feasible? Is technology can support it? Is it innovative? Is it patentable? That's a very, very important thing. Because if you come to an investor and he will ask you one of the first questions, what is the technology barrier? That means, how long will it take to somebody else to do the same? You will say, I don't know, 2 years. Okay, so what prevents somebody else to compete with you? I have a patent. Okay, if you have a patent, that's good. A few examples of good ideas. Mobileye, an Israeli company that was sold before a few months for $15 billion to Intel. They had a good idea. They still have a good idea, and hopefully it will change the world. Another example, Waze. Most of you probably know them. They did something very, very innovative. What they did, they found a way how to pave new roads. That's a Waze user driving in a road that was never driven before by Waze. And when he drives, Waze knows how to edit on his maps. And the reason that they did this is because when they started to develop their navigation system, the maps are very, very expensive. So they were looking for an idea what can be done in order to avoid buying the maps. And they found this idea. Great idea. They were sold a few years ago to Google for $1.5 billion. Funding. You need to know exactly what type of funding you need, what do you want to cover with this funding, and what you ask for the funding. If somebody gives you, don't know, 1 million, how much of the company you're ready to share with him, to give him as equity? That's a negotiation you need to be prepared to do. And then it should be smart. You shouldn't look for money that somebody invests and doesn't keep any track, doesn't talk to you. You need to look for smart money and smart use of the money. And a good example would be that if you can get an investor that knows about your industry, has an influence in the industry, then the use of the money that he will give it to you will be much better. And also very important tip, leave some money for a rainy day. Don't spend all the money up front because there are some situations that you don't know what to expect. Then the business itself. Is it the correct business model? Is it the right value proposition? You will be asked all of this question. You need to be ready to respond. Then, do you have a good sales and partnering execution plan? Partnering is very, very important. You're a small company. You cannot conquer the world all at once. You need to have partners on the ground that will help you to sell, will sell instead of you. And together, we'll have more business. Do you have an accurate assessment of technology and future challenges? You need to be ready to answer those questions as well. Is there potential profitable exit for the investor? Again, investor looking for money, for return on their investment. If you can show them that there is a good potential for an exit, it's a good plus. The key for success, and we'll talk about a few tips. That's a scorecard that the company that I mentioned before, an angel organization, we have a scorecard. This scorecard gives scores, different things, and then at the end we say, okay, this guy will get money from us or will not. If you're smart enough to guess or even to know what is the scorecard of the guy sitting in front of you, you have an advantage. Perfect pitch. As I said before, you don't have too much time to impress. You do it or you fail. You need to be ready for the perfect pitch. And presenter is the key. Because the investor is looking at the presenter. In most of the cases, the presenter is the CEO. Why is it interesting to the CEO? Because the CEO reports to him. It doesn't care less about the CTO, about the salesperson, because at the end of the day, the CEO has the full responsibility. So he's looking at the CEO to see if the CEO can bring the business and can bring the results. If the CEO fails, it fails. So usually the one that presents should be the CEO. Not always it does work. And that's something very, very interesting. Again, I'm quoting something that I heard from a presentation by Uri Levin from Waze. He said that usually people think that the road gets to a junction, to the left is success, to the right is failure. So no, it's different. You get to a junction, you either fail or succeed. If you fail, you go to the next junction. You fail again. You go to the next junction, then you succeed. So you should be ready to fail. If it doesn't work, start from scratch, learn from your mistakes, and start again. Then I have another question interesting to you. Let's assume one of you is an investor. And you have two CEO coming, one is now and the other one half an hour later. The first one is the first startup that he is running. The second one is already the second startup, and the first startup he failed. Which one do you believe the investor will choose to work with? The first one or the second one? The second one. Why? Because the second one did already a few mistakes. He learned from his mistakes. The first one, which is the first time for him, he will do the same mistake again, so better prevent those mistakes. And also you should be brave. It's not for people that are faint in their hearts. And this is Sparta. I hope that people know what is Sparta. It used to be a city in old Greece, that people were very, very brave. The ones which were not very brave, they were killed, they were executed, and only the brave people survived. And for you as investors, the sky is your only limit. And I wish to all of you to fly and to be a unicorn. And if people don't know what's a unicorn in this investment jargon means a company that got to a value of $1 billion. That means it became a unicorn. Now I want to share a little bit more things with you related to Israel. At the end of the day, I represent Israel. There is a study that was done by Deloitte. It's a company that does a lot of different studies. And they made like an index of global venture capital confidence. It's an index between, I believe, 1 to 5. And they measured different parameters. And guess what? US came first. They are big, they are established. Who came second? Israel. So Israel is really a multinational power in this arena. And you're welcome to learn from Israel. And I can give you one additional tip. We have in Israel a lot of accelerators, a lot of places that startups are working. I really advise to you to come over to Israel for a week, for a month, for 3 months. Sit down with those guys, talk with them, mingle with them, see how they work, and hopefully we'll be able to gain more knowledge, more experience for other people, and we'll be successful. I need to, on my last slide, to thank a few companies and people that I gathered some information from them for this presentation. Hope you enjoyed. I wish you to continue to enjoy the show. Thank you very much.
So, do we have some questions in the audience, please?
They're in shock.
Yeah, they are in shock. They're terrified.
Especially because of the time.
Okay, so I will give you a question that concerns
You
I think
give
a
me
lot
a question?
of yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. So imagine I am a startup from Lithuania that wants to succeed in Israel.
Okay.
What should I know about Israeli business culture to be able to do just that?
It's a tough one.
Oh yeah.
I believe that I partially answered already in my one of the last slides. In order to learn about the culture, not only if you are a startup, you want to learn the culture because you are in the, I don't know, in the music business. You want to learn the culture in India. It's very, very difficult to learn something without being there. You need to be there. You need to meet the people, you need to talk with them, socialize with them, and then you will be ready to understand their mind and to learn from them how to succeed, how to do it.
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Zvika, so much.
Just one thing.
Yeah.
I am here until the end of the day. If somebody really wants to continue the discussion, I am here around. You're welcome, and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.